Welcome to the Galactic Mayan Weather Report. So I'm coming to you today at the beginning of a new wave spell. We've just closed off the 13 days of the Red Earth wave spell, and if you've been following the weather report, you'll know that was about really evolving our capacity to slow down, tune into the Schumann resonance, to the heartbeat of the earth, to the collective mind, the noosphere, in order to trust in the flow of life, to learn to navigate our evolution through synchronicity. And so now, as we closed that off yesterday, we move into a new wave spell today. And today we are opening up the White Dog Wavespell. So this is 13 days dedicated to the evolution of our capacity to love, our capacity to open our hearts up to existence, open our hearts to our everyday life, to the people that we share it with, in order to attract loyalty into our world so that we can create once again tribes like we used to have of the past. So this White Dog Wavespell is very much around family. It's very much about love. It's very much about, loyalty, and you think of a dog, they say a dog is a man's best friend. It's an old cliched saying, and it really talks about, that loyalty of the dog to its master. And so during this 13 days, we're going to be really challenged to question, where are we placing our loyalty? Who have you pledged allegiance to in your reality? And why have you pledged that allegiance? Is it coming from the heart and from love, and is it inspired loyalty? Or is it coming from the mind? Is it coming from a place of fear? And this is what you see in some of the dictatorships around the world, and you look back in history of where, people have pledged their loyalty to masters who have been very abusive. And they didn't do it because they were enamored with their leader, their dictator. They did it because they felt that if they pledged loyalty to this person of power that had control and domination, then they would be safe. While all of the others were punished, if they pledged their loyalty to this master, then they would be safe from the punishment that was being put out. But then they themselves would get drawn into that process of punishing them so that they wouldn't be the ones getting punished. And of course, that didn't turn out too well. So as we move through this White Dog Wavespell, we really want to make sure and have a look at our relationships. Have a look at your friendships. Who are you holding close to yourself? Who are you surrounding yourself with? And where are you putting your efforts for reconciliation? And, a big theme that comes up for me around this is, at the moment, our world is going through really massive change. We're having the shadows, all of our personal shadows, all of our collective shadow frequencies are all coming to the surface. It's icky, it's sticky, it's something we don't really want to look at, but I think we're all starting to realize that we just need to, and that it needs to be done. And when this is happening, it's very easy to get caught up in blame, shame, and judgment, because when our own stuff comes up and we get triggered by maybe something in politics out in the world, or economics, or something in our community of what people were saying, when we get triggered, we have kind of two options. We can react to what's triggering us through fear, and that reaction can lead to a kind of fighting, to a pointing the finger and blaming and saying, you're doing this wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong, shouldn't be like this is cruel, that's stupid, this is ignorant, you're an idiot. And I'm sure if you take a moment, you've taken part in that, as I have. All you got to do is spend a few minutes watching mainstream TV and the latest political escapades, and I'm sure you can't help but slip into that place of going, oh, you bloody idiot, what are they doing? They're being... And the problem with this is that the very moment that we slip into that, two things are happening. One, you're taking your energy, your precious energy, away from your current moment, your here and now, your surroundings, those loved ones that you're surrounding, and you're putting it out there, and you're feeding this beast out in the outside world of this shadow. You're pouring more energy into keeping it alive. And in doing so, you're actually not being fully present with dealing with your own issues and family and people around you, which is where we should be working. And on top of that, when we start projecting out and getting upset and screaming and judging and the rest, we're really bringing that frequency home. We're contributing towards the process of separation. That is the very thing we're trying to fight against. We are taking part in. And we're taking sides, and we're creating conflict. And when you do that, just think about it. Have you ever really wanted to listen to somebody who has the opposite perspective of you, or who sees things very different to you, if they come into a discussion with you straight away and say, "You're wrong, you're an idiot, you're arrogant," any of those kinds of comments? How do you feel? Do you want to listen? Of course not. What's your instant reaction? No, I'm not wrong, you're wrong. And so this is where conflict begins. And it's all because of the fear-based reactions where we're trying to protect ourselves. And so as we're moving through these turbulent times with so much change happening so rapidly, a lot of people are coming out of the depths of ignorance really quickly, and it's terrifying, it's confusing, and it's really encouraging everyone, including myself, to really try and come into this place now during this White Dog Wavespell of love and compassion, to be able to listen and allow somebody to speak through their ignorance. Because people don't need to be told what's right and wrong. They need to be guided. They need to be shown examples through living embodiment of what it means to be compassionate, to love. And that begins with listening. It begins with heart-centered listening and compassion. So when all this chaos is going on around us, see if you can take a moment to remember that nobody is consciously being an asshole out there. No one is consciously going out and being mean or arrogant or divisive. It's all reactive shadow patterns. It's part of our genetic program that is shedding right now. And everyone wants to be connected. We are human beings and we live for intimacy. We live for human connection. We are built to work as a tribe, as a community. Not as individuals in our little chicken coop houses in these concrete suburban jungles. It's not saying we can't be in these concrete suburban jungles. They have their own magnificence in their own way. But we need to have human connection. So I challenge you to see if when you move into a place of conflict, stop giving your energy and attention to the drama that's happening in the greater world, because there's going to be a lot. There's a million things happening that are terrible that we can look at, and the news will just keep pumping it out, this fear porn. And it's addictive. So I challenge you during these 13 days of the White Dog to give less attention to what's happening out in the world and give more attention to what's happening in your personal world. What is happening in your family? Where are the separation, the schisms in your family? Maybe it's with your parents. Have you got challenges with your mother and father? And that stems from childhood, something where it's hard to forgive. It's hard to really open your heart to love and to communicate and to hear them, because you're still holding on to something, hurt and suffering. And instead of demanding that they hear you, this is not just parents, it can be your children, it can be your lovers, it could be your friends and family, it could be someone at work. Instead of demanding that they hear your perspective, during this White Dog Wavespell, see if you can just find your center, breathe deep whenever you're getting triggered, and see if you can listen to them first. See if you can actually hear, why are they coming from this way? Why are they being like that? Why does it feel like they're pushing your buttons? And often you'll find that it's their own hurt that's crying out for attention, that's crying out to be loved. And they feel, if only you will do this, then maybe you'll see me. And you might realize that they're doing the same thing you're doing. And it takes two to tango. It takes two to create that conflict. So during this White Dog Wavespell, see if you can come into your heart and take time and compassion for the other. To open your heart to really receive them. To not need to be right. To not need to point fingers at what's wrong in everything. But see if you can look beyond what's not right and see what is working. See if you can really highlight for the other their gifts, their beauty, what you like about them. And because the more that you can see these people who are challenging your life through the light of love, and listen to them through your heart, and really see the part of them that is a gift to this world, the more you feed that into your reality, the more you give it energy, the more that they get stronger, and the more they feel able to stand up on their own 2 feet and be that beauty. And then you will get to reap the beauty, the gifts. You'll be able to reap the majesty, the magic of that person when they begin to shine it, and they will begin to see it in you. Because in the end, we are all just a reflection of each other. And somebody has to put the gun down first. And if you're going to wait for your family and friends or whoever you're having challenges with to be the ones to do that, then you might wait for a while. And of course, when I'm saying this, if you're in an abusive situation where it's actually abusive, then do seek help. You know, there's that white dog challenge sometimes. We can be over loyal to the wrong people, to the abusive masters. And sometimes it can also be addictive. It's challenging, it's scary. And in those cases, please do seek help, professional help. Because these times are tough and crazy, and we are human. We're not designed to do this alone. Your spiritual journey is an alone journey that happens inside. But the life we have around us, there's plenty of help there. But we need to ask for it. So, again, this White Dog Wavespell is 13 days of really looking at where you are pledging your allegiance and whether it's coming from the heart or the mind. And when you begin to lead in your life from love, when you begin to lead and just demonstrate this behavior of seeing the light in the world around you, seeing the potential, seeing the beauty of where the world is going, not the horror of where it's come from. When we can begin to step up into that power and that leadership, then you'll begin to build up your own loyal followers, your own loyal tribe, people that love and care and admire you, and as you admire them. And we will begin to bring back this tribe of people who really care for each other, as we used to in the villages of old. It's time to bring back the village again. It's time to bring back the compassion, the connection. It's time to bring humanity back together. So I challenge you to be a leader in that movement. I challenge you to put down your guns, to stop pointing out what's wrong, and start really targeting your love on what's right. And together we're going to lead this world through this chaos that is necessary right now. As everything's breaking down, as all these, alignments are happening right now, it is insane, it's wild, we're all thrashing about, the whole world's thrashing about. But the beauty of that is it means that people are no longer locked into this dogmatic view of the world, because nothing is holding strong anymore. Everything is falling apart. And when everything is falling apart, it's like everyone is becoming open again and ready to see a new way. And now we need the way showers. We need you to stand up and be the light, to connect with your heart and find the compassion for this world that is suffering right now, and understand that the hurt and the pain and the reactions are coming from that place, so that you can stand up and shine your light, to open your heart and help people feel what it's like to be loved, to be received, to be witnessed. And allow that to be the new contagion, the new contagious energy that swarms through this earth. Let us shine our lights together. And then we can begin to shine the light on the path, so others can begin to find their way out of their own shadows. And I truly believe that we are going through one of the greatest moments in our history. And we're going to look back on this in many years to come and be sitting on our porches as the rain trickles down on a beautiful new world, reflecting on that wild time and what it took to resist the temptation to fall into that blame, shame, and old world, and the courage it took to stand up, to love, to shine compassion, and lead the way into the new time. And I'm really excited about that. And I have hope for my son, knowing that he is going to grow up in a world that is going to be beyond our wildest dreams. But we just have to get through this little metamorphosis as we bust out of our cocoons and into the butterflies we came here to be. So much love in Lakesh. See you mid-Wavespell.